all of a sudden, we feel so much better about Michigan and Colorado than we do Alabama, even though Michigan won one fewer game than Alabama, and Colorado, well, didn't actually sniff playing the college football playoff the way that many Alabama fans wanted their team to sniff playing the college football playoff. And I want to talk about that. What's up, kid folks? It's RJ Young. I'm not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching the #1 college football show, welcome. Thank you for being here. If you like the show and you're a returning viewer, hit that subscribe button. It costs you nothing. It's free. Ring the bell if you don't want to miss any of the segments that we upload to the channel, because we talk college football here 24/7, 365 days, each and every year. Off to a really great start today, RJ. It might show that I have been making this show for 2,947 days, which is my way of saying, if you don't know what being on the step mill is, ask an OG, because this show is an original and we do tip a hat to the original gangsters. Believe it or not, I have explained what the step mill bit means. I even did it last month, but since I'm the only person that watches every single show, every single segment, maybe you missed it, but it'd be out there. Maybe one day I'll talk about it, but it won't be today. Today, we are talking about Alabama, Michigan, and Colorado in some fashion. So let's give this some thought about which programs, aside from Oklahoma, which is mine, need the help the most. And the reason I'm not putting Oklahoma in this conversation is because Oklahoma didn't have no winning season. It is a tier below whatever it is that we're talking about with Alabama, Michigan, and Colorado. But Alabama is in an unfamiliar position, or at least one that children of a certain age have never seen before. So Alabama had 15 consecutive years of winning football, and not just winning football, but 10 win or better winning football, okay? With 6 national championships inside of that time. Nick Saban, greatest college football coach who has ever lived, and Bill Belichick says is the greatest football coach he ever met. Knows, period. Kalen DeBoer comes in after leading Washington to the national championship game, and we're expecting it to be good. Is it going to pick up the way that Nick Saban had it running? Maybe not, but it should be close because it is Alabama. And even after you turn over the roster in the way that they did, you still have some players. And this was a program that could score and had a really great win against what ends up being the SEC champs and a college football playoff semifinal team in Georgia when they did have Carson back. So they get that monster win. But they also take 4 losses, 3 during the regular season. First time they've taken 3 in the regular season since 2007. Now, it's the worst performing team that Alabama has had since 2007. And they finished 9-4. Kalen DeBoer can't afford another year like that one. They're not going to take it well in Tuscaloosa. They don't take not playing for the SEC championship game well in Tuscaloosa, and they believe that they should be a part of every college football playoff that there ever will be or has been. I feel like the way that people talk about Ohio State being entitled is the way that Alabama fans feel full time and have for some time. So much so that on Inauguration Day, C-SPAN took calls, and I always love it when people take calls because goodness me. So we had a dude call in and say, hey, look, I would like to talk about Alabama being left out of the college football playoff, truly dark times in our nation. And I fell out because we've been talking about this for a month. And then, you lost to a team in Oklahoma that has a losing record. You lost to them by a bunch. You got sunned by a team that was put together with scotch tape and glue, all right? That's not how you want to go out if you're Alabama. To say nothing of, they were one of the worst teams in all of football in penalties. 115th in penalties. They were getting themselves assessed. And then you saw Kalen DeBoer on the sideline, and he wasn't particularly taking it well. I thought that for one moment during that Michigan game that Kalen DeBoer was going to become unglued, and it was not going to be pretty when he decided to do so. I thought that Kalen DeBoer also got a little bit over his skis a little bit later in the season, okay? You've got Jalen Milroe, you got Jam Miller, you got Justice Haynes, you got Ryan Williams, you got Jeremy Bernard. Make it happen. and they couldn't make it happen. Meanwhile, Michigan feels so much better about their 8-5 year because they beat 2 college football playoff national champions during this era, back-to-back years, and they beat the national champions away from home in a fair fight. Okay. And they did all of this with a glaring deficiency at the most important position in sports, quarterback. So an 8-5 Michigan with wins against Alabama and Ohio State gets to say that it might have underperformed because it really did, right? That said, you should nail your quarterback every single year. And I'm including Oklahoma in that part. You should nail your quarterback every single year. You should not be deficient at that position. We all know it's important. You know it's important. You had Michael Penix Jr. You know how important that position is, okay? Or not you. Kalen DeBoer did. Sherrone Moore had J.J. McCarthy. You know how important that position is, okay? Nail it. You knew Jack Tuttle wasn't going to be it. You knew Alex Orji wasn't going to be it. And you knew that Davis Warren should not have been it. And yet, and still, that's what we're talking about. So they've added Mikey Keene, sure. And they added Bryce Underwood, yeah. And they expect to compete for a Big Ten championship in 2025. Meanwhile, you got Colorado over there, who also finished with an identical record to Alabama. RJ didn't play an SEC schedule. Yeah, they didn't get beat by Oklahoma. You right. They didn't get beat by 6-7, Oklahoma. That's not what happened. Make me understand. Make me understand. Make me understand how playing an SEC schedule and then taking losses to a so-so Michigan team, it's like they beat Ohio State. What'd I say? A so-so Michigan team and Oklahoma and Vanderbilt makes you feel okay, Alabama fan. Make me make that make sense to the Colorado fans. Like, wait, who are our losses to? So the worst team we lost to is Nebraska, and they went bowling and they won their bowl game? What are we doing here? How you going to be talking about us this way? Put Colorado in the SEC, and they would catch 12 losses. I don't think they catch one to Oklahoma. I don't think they catch one to Vanderbilt. I would love to see Colorado play Michigan last year. I think that might have been a fair fight because, well, they can't run the ball at Colorado in the first place, so it ain't like y'all got to worry about them running into the teeth of that outstanding defensive front, which is gone, by the way. I just think that the way in which we talk about college football is so much more about how we feel than the results on the field, right? Like I said, you feel so much better if you're a Colorado fan going 9-4, finishing with a top 25 ranking and just outside of the college football playoff and just one win short of playing for the Big 12 championship. You probably playing that game, you might have got in because you're such a popular team. Alabama, on the other hand, feels like it is trending in the wrong direction. Ty Simpson's your guy? Austin Mack's your guy? I don't know, man. Jalen Milroe was responsible for a whole lot of your winning. You lost his too, but a whole lot of your winning. Justin Hayes goes to Michigan. That's how much faith he's got in staying in Alabama. He transferred to Michigan. I think Alabama is going to find itself up against it, and not in a great way, if things don't get fixed come October, November 2025.